Let's jump to 21 predictions and spend a few minutes on this here. You'll see that I recapped 20 if you want to look at this. I talked about interest rates. Now, my friends, let's get back together here for a few minutes and talk about interest rates. This is part of the why. So when I told you that part of the reason that there's so little inventory is their homes are getting eaten up. Another, when I go like this, that's my Pac-Man thing, right? Like as the homes get listed, remember the game Pac-Man? The homes get eaten up. Now, the other thing that happens is that happened, interest rates fell. And if you look at this, I want to show you all this graph. You can see interest rates, I'm trying to find the right colors to describe it to you correctly. The 15 years in green, 30 years in blue. Interest rates really fell. Now back here, we're back in 18, 19. Look at the beginning of 20, what happened? They just completely collapsed. We actually have to get a better graph on this. But what we were trying to show was through 20. We're going to get a more extended graph on this. But take a look at that. They went down, and well, folks, they ended up down here, a 30-year fixed rate. They ended up like 2.5%. So what does that do? That adds to the amount of buyers that can buy, right? It increases the buyer pool. Now something else happened. So I've told you the reasons so far. Less people listing their homes, interest rates going down, buyers coming out in droves, people wanting their own space. There was also an exodus from the city of Boston, but I'll tell you, Boston is getting better. We're noticing it in the last 90 days, especially in the last 30. The interest in Boston is coming back. Boston's a major city, one of the largest in the country. Every year, Boston supplies, I like to say supplies, a continuous flow of buyers who live there renting an apartment or in a condo, and they move out and they sell and move to the suburbs. Well, 10 months ago, when COVID really got bad, people said, well, I was thinking of leaving in a year or the next year. I'm leaving now. And people took off, right? So it created this wave of people running out to the suburbs. So these are the things that have contributed to where we're at. Now, if you're a buyer listening, say, tell me what I do, tell me what I do. I promise you I'm going to get there, okay? Talk about some of it here. Again, here is snapshot of homes for sale, 2020. Look at this. This right here, our graphic design person who does all our reports, Cole Gagaro, literally phenomenal reporting. She's been working so hard on. Right here, look at 2021. We started 6,500 homes. It's just crazy. The beginning of the year, I said 9,000 a few minutes ago, but it's gone up, right? More homes have come up for sale, but we're starting the year so incredibly low. Look at home prices. This is part of what I want to explain. This is exciting to a seller, frustrating to a buyer, but buyers, I want you to have the confidence. Everybody said prices would collapse last April. I said they would not. I shouldn't say everybody. Most people said they would collapse. I said they would not. The reason is inventory went down. Prices do not collapse when inventory goes down. So I understand you're frustrated as a home buyer, but you have to understand once you actually get a home, your value is going to go up. Values appreciating, increasing is accelerating. Look at this. Right around low 500s, average sale price in Massachusetts. We ended the year the same way, right around there. It's just not filled in yet because this is an end of 20 report. Now, when will it end? Well, if you read my predictions, it says right here, I'm sorry to say it won't end anytime soon. Sellers just don't list early enough each year. April is the soonest that we'll see relief. Now, sellers, if you hear that, you should say, this guy might possibly know what he's talking about. If you are thinking of selling, put your home on the market, especially where it's a mild winter. It makes it even easier. I can understand if there's snow everywhere and you don't want people tramping through your house. I get it. But it's a mild winter. Yes, it's finally cold this weekend, but the buyers are out there. They have a lack of choices. They're frustrated. They're willing to pay more. And honestly, I don't blame buyers for being willing to pay more because prices are going up. Even if you overpay by $20,000 on a $400,000 house, let's say you overpay by 5%, who cares? You wait 6 months. It's worth that. Now, got to be careful with appraisals. I do smell appraisal issues coming in the next few months. It's getting harder for appraisers, but truth be told, it's going to be hard. We have a tough 45 days on our hands. We're in the midst of the worst of it right now. This is it. We're here. We've got to deal with it. Now, if more sellers list, it will get easier. Those sellers will be happy that they did. I promise. But not enough will. There isn't enough sellers out there that could satisfy the demand. So if you look at this, that's what we're dealing with. Now, what I said was for my predictions of 21, okay, we will end up with the largest year of home sales since 2005. I do not see us beating 05. Here's why. There was a massive new construction boom. I think permits for new construction homes was at the highest ever in 03 and 04. It made it so that 04 and 05 had the largest amount of home sales. Look at these numbers right here. 04, 05, about 110,000, 108,000 homes sold. I don't see that this year, but I'll tell you right now, mark my words, this is going to be the first year since 05 that we go over 100,000 homes for sale. It's going to happen. This is it here. Now, some people might say, oh, does that mean the market's going to crash? Folks, much different market than we were dealing with then. Then there were tons of buyers because banks were giving money out to everybody that would take it. Banks were doing 100% financing. They're not doing that now. People are putting good down payments down. And that's one of the problems. Buyers are getting beat out by cash buyers. If you're one of those buyers, I hear you. Just hang on. It's going to get easier, okay? Because more is going to get listed. And if you're working with a Lamakia agent, you have a significant advantage. And I'm going to talk about that advantage. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my pen, and I'm going to talk about that advantage in a minute. Because that has to do, or in a few minutes, that has to do with our Lamakia Link system and why you have an advantage if you're working with one of our buyers, because we have a system that matches our buyers and sellers every single night. I promise you I'll get into that. I'm going to make a note so that I don't forget, and I'm going to go over that shortly. Let's stay on the predictions, though. So like I said, sales will be the highest since 2005. Now, look at this right here. If you're a buyer, don't get discouraged. I'm going to put the whole screen on this for you, and I'm even going to zoom a little bit. Getting really fancy with my computer. If you're if you're a buyer, don't get discouraged. Just get yourself in a position that you are ready to strike. Okay, now I'm at the part of the presentation where I'm going to talk about